James Gunn has said that he will cast a new Batman for The Brave and the Bold, the new Batman movie coming out in the DCU with a unannounced time frame of when exactly that's going to be. But this has caused kind of great debate, I guess you could say, in the fandom of whether or not Robert Pattinson should be folded into the DCU and be the Batman of the DCU, or should we recast and get a new actor to play Batman for the DCU? I think there's pros, I think there's cons. I personally think that we should not keep Robert Pattinson as the Batman of the DCU, and we should definitely recast and let the Pattinson Batman movies from Matt Reeves, stand alone, be its own thing. But let's look at the pros of this conversation first, right? It does invoke less audience confusion. I mean, how many live action Batmans have we had in the past few years now? Right now, we just had Robert Pattinson, who had a crazy successful movie in the box office, as well as even greater critical success, I would say. But we also had Ben Affleck in the Flash movie just a year ago. We had Michael Keaton playing Batman in the Flash movie just a year ago. That's 3 live action Batman, like in the past 5 years. And we had a whole Christian Bale trilogy in the late 2000s, early 2010s. That's a lot of live action Batman, and I think that causes confusion for the general audience of how things connect, how this is working, why do things keep rebooting. It's just weird for the audience, and it's also not a good look. So I think keeping Robert Pattinson would, enact less audience confusion. Recasting is just another confusing thing to do. It's just another new actor playing Batman, which, like I said, I think it's weird for the overall general audience, in my opinion. I think the next thing to look at is Matt Reeves' work on the Batman is genuinely amazing. I mean, the Batman was well received. It did very well critically. But hey, the Penguin did amazing too. And it's, Matt Reeves has his own shared connected universe of Batman properties, which is, the Batman Epic Crime Saga, I believe is what this kind of universe is called right now. But we know that the work that we've gotten from Matt Reeves and his team producing the Batman and the Penguin, that the fans love it. So it would make sense to kind of fold this universe and, just kind of retcon it into being in the DCU rather than starting all over again, because you already have something that's successful and works. You have a successful, almost prestige television show, and then you have a successful blockbuster Batman movie already to kind of build up upon in the new DCU. If you recast a new Batman and have a whole new creative team working on Batman for the DCU, you're just throwing away this amazing foundation that you already have. So I can see why, keeping Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves as the creatives for the Batman and folding that into the DCU would definitely be a positive and work really well. And then I think the last thing that's kind of obvious when you're talking about the pros of keeping Robert Pattinson as the DCU Batman, or I shouldn't say keeping him as the DCU Batman, because he's not the DCU Batman, but keeping Robert Pattinson in the role of Batman for the DCU. I guess that would be the proper way of saying it. But Robert Pattinson's great in the role of Batman, right? He was fantastic in the Batman. And I think, it's difficult to cast people, right? You're not going to hit on every single casting choice that you make in every single film. So why roll the dice and, risk not being able to, cast someone as well as Robert Pattinson? Plus, you have these these 2 competing movies that are going on at once. So you're going to have the Batman franchise going on at once. Then you're going to have the DCU Batman franchise going on at the same time as the Pattinson Batman franchise. So I think that's, another thing to consider, as a negative to recasting a new Batman for the DCU, is having 2 competing franchises, even if they're tonally different or visually different. I still think it's a little weird having that competition there. You don't want to run into the risk of not being able to cast someone as well as Robert Pattinson and then having these 2 Batman actors kind of just compared against each other, for the entirety of time. But to be fair, we do compare the casting choices for superheroes compared to the older casting choices for those superheroes all the time anyways. Like I said, I personally think that you do have to recast. So let's kind of go into the cons of what keeping Pattinson would be. Why is keeping Pattinson as the Batman for the DCU a con? Well, I think the first thing is the clashing viewpoints, right? So James Gunn is the head of the DCU. Matt Reeves is kind of heading this Batman saga, and I think they work well together, obviously, because Matt Reeves is still working under James Gunn to produce these movies. And it even seems like Matt Reeves is going to make an Arkham Asylum show for the DCU. So I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're on bad terms creatively or, in terms of business working along with each other. But I do think they may have clashing viewpoints on what to do with the franchise. Does, Matt Reeves want to be constrained with a bunch of other projects? And, does he want to have to worry about the continuity of other projects affecting his works? Or does he want to just kind of keep his thing solo? So I think that's, a con as to why we shouldn't keep Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves on as the creatives for the Batman franchise in the DCU. The other thing is there's already a director. Andy Muschietti has already been hired as the director of The Brave and the Bold. So I think that's another thing to look at there. You already have a director. So let's say you fire Andy Muschietti and you hire Matt Reeves to, direct The Brave and the Bold, or incorporate the Batman 2, I should say, as the, the Batman movie for the DCU, and retcon, the epic crime saga universe as, the Batman of the DCU. It's just weird. You're going to cause, bad blood between, James Gunn, Warner Brothers, DC Studios with Andy Muschietti, and it's weird kind of just shoehorning Matt Reeves into this universe. Now, of course, you could completely get rid of Matt Reeves and just keep Robert Pattinson and have Andy Muschietti direct a sequel, but that's even worse. That's a terrible thing to do, to just shove Matt Reeves outside of, of his own work, his own creation of this universe that he's built up. So that's another reason why I think it's a con to keep Robert Pattinson, or use Robert Pattinson's Batman as the Batman in the DCU. And the other thing is Reeves' Batman, it might be too grounded or too realistic for the DCU. He said that he kind of wants to keep things to a more realistic, manner. So I don't know if it's going to mesh well with, Crypto the Dog, which is pictured here, or the Creature Commandos, which has just come out and is the first project that we're getting from the DCU. I don't know if it's really going to work that well, and I don't know if I want it to work that way. I'm excited to see a Batman that's a part of the Justice League and can, feels more comic booky, but also keeps that grounded tone as well. I'm kind of in the middle. I know there's a lot of people that want to go really out there for this Batman and the DCU and kind of make him really campy. I wouldn't say goofy, but more comic camp into it. And I see that, but I think there's a happy medium of keeping it grounded, but also going into that goofy, campy, comic booky manner. And of course, there's tons of comics to pull from that has that campiness, but also has that groundedness. So I don't think that Reeves' Batman would really fit into the DCU, nor do I think that he would want to fold it into the DCU. I think he wants to go for a more realistic, grounded tone, which I think would really clash and compete with the vision that James Gunn and the rest of the creatives at the DCU have for the DCU. But that's just kind of my personal opinion about this. Who knows? I do really see the pros of keeping Robert Pattinson, or using Robert Pattinson's Batman as the Batman of the DCU, but I just really strongly advise against it for the 3 reasons that I just listed, even if they're a little weaker than the pros that we have there. It's a really touchy subject. It's really interesting. I really want to know what you guys think about this. So let me know down in the comments your thoughts on, should Robert Pattinson be the Batman for the DCU? Should we just retcon all of Matt Reeves' work into the DCU? Or should they cast a new Batman for the DCU, for the Brave and the Bold, and go down that route? We already know what they're doing. They're going to cast a new Batman for the Brave and the Bold, but you never know. Things could change. We don't have any tentative plans of when the Brave and the Bold's coming out or anything like that. We just have a director attached, really. And do we have a writer? I think we had a writer, but I don't think we have a writer anymore, which is interesting. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'll catch you guys on the next one, and have a great day.